Work without snooping around.
You spend too much time up there. You spend too much time. Spend too much You spend too much
Hey, hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Okay, so today we are taking a look at SpaceCraft. Now I'm going to be using different samples from different things, some from Daniel from the MC13 pack. I watched House on Haunted Hill last night after last night's live stream. It's on YouTube for free if you want to watch it. It's Vincent Price, absolutely brilliant film. I love it. Me and Joe are going to watch The Abominable Dr. Phibes later. Another one of my favourite Vincent Price films. Right, okay. Ding. SpaceCraft. This is going to be a tutorial for SpaceCraft. Okay, because I think it's great. And when it first came out, you could only use it in the effects slot. It would still work, and then you could only load 2 of them. But now you can load tons of them. So I'd like to say hello to everybody who's here in the chat as well. Hi, Jim. Hi, Starlight247. Hello, Ion Dragos. I can't even see the last part of that name. Stephen Cara. Hello, Joe, Lady Aptitude, Jim, Colin, and David, and let me just go up again and see if I've missed anybody. Jim, David. If I have missed anyone, I do apologise. Anyway, let's crack on. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll save this, although I think it's saved. And I'm just going to open a new session, so we'll just clear this one, and I will just start with one thing and take you through the whole thing to show you how it works. And then if we have time, I'm sure we will, we can start to build up a session. So SpaceCraft has come a long way since it first came out. Like I said, originally you could only open it up in the effects slot and stuff like that. And I think that Mark, the developer, I think he was quite ill during COVID as well. But he is actually like a rocket scientist type guy. You know what I mean? I watched an interview with Jacob did with him. Just having a drink. Anyway, let's open it up and see what we get. Double tap. Each instance of SpaceCraft has 2 actual, let's see what's going on here. Just skip that. Each instance of a SpaceCraft has 2 ways to play a waveform. Okay, so when you first get it, it'll be like this. This will have default patches, and there are lots of default projects in here. You access the projects by clicking on this little arrow here, and then these are the factory projects. These are user samples that you import. So you have the most fun importing your own. It does MPE stuff as well if you want, and that's just one project I saved earlier. And also has tons of MIDI stuff, but we're going to be concentrating on how the actual thing works. So for instance, if we select a project, it will start to play. Some of them won't. Now, very nice. Let me stop all these so we can explain what's going on. God, I can't see a thing. Right. Okay, so now I've switched everything off. You'll see this looks slightly different than the one that was opened, right? This is because when you go into settings right now, without anything being triggered, you're not going to hear anything on this particular setting. But if we go into our settings here now, you will see that this here explains exactly what's going on. So for instance, this is the grain control, this is the LFO, this is the filter and the reverb. But we want to take away the envelope. So I'm going to switch envelope off, and you'll see where it says chromatic all notes. That's why you've got loads and loads and loads of little boxes. So if you tap on this and just select the scale, I'm going to choose minor pentatonic for this one. I'm going to close it now, and you'll see it's much bigger. So to get it to start off, just tap on one of those, and we'll do the same for this one down here. We shall take off the amp envelope and set the chromatic to the same. We'll just set this one to, there are quite a few scales actually, so you can choose from a bunch of them. I'll go minor harmonic again with this one and close it. And this, you move through your wave. You see, I think this works better with long wave files, okay? They constantly change, like full songs and stuff like this. Now this one with the little X, this is going to play the original pitch of the original sample. The others are like a sequencer. So the grain control controls the speed. Now at the moment it's free running. We can this next one is an LFO. And if you tap on this, it tells you exactly what is what. And it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing complicated about SpaceCraft. Okay, what we want to do is we want to set this to be synchronized with AUM. Okay, so tap on the little gear icon again, and you'll see in grain control, which is directly related to the speed of the sequencer, you hit sync, and this tells you the host is on 120. And I'm going to do the same for this one because they're independent. Oh, actually, I'll show you. They work completely independently. So if I close this now, if I press this, nothing is going to happen. But if I press this, this is going to play. Okay? This will only play when I hit the transport, and it will be in time with this. This is an octave. Hi, Panda Cat. This one is a filter and a reverb. Okay? Pushing it up will increase the reverb, and it gets really lovely. It's really lush. This is a filter, so low pass and high pass, and anything in between. This one is pitch. It's coarse pitch, fine pitch, and ring modulation. So coarse pitch. Double tap to reset, by the way. Fine pitch. It tells you in here anyway if you look at the... So you've got fine pitch, coarse pitch, and then ring mod. So ring mod. And then you can... And you'll see the range at the top, and you can extend the range to the entire track. Or you can get really granular. Decrease volume, increase volume, and explore the wave. Okay. When we stop it, the host, it'll tell us the host has stopped, press play. And when we're on free, it'll just play. It's great, isn't it? That'll carry on because we're on sync. Okay, so importing your own samples. Let's do another one. Let's open another SpaceCraft here. SpaceCraft. We can go in here, and this will be the default. Now, if we go into our little settings icon and then hit global, it means we can. You can set up various bits and pieces for the app. There's some MP stuff, some Midi stuff, the way the grain envelope works, the shape. You can change the shape of the LFO as well, by the way, if you're in the LFO settings. I think there's a couple of shapes that you can use. You can also change different color schemes, like this or like that. So, you know, depending on what suits your kind of eyes. So I'm going to change this back to the default. And then we can do this. Now I will say that, right, on a default mode, these can be on, right? But sometimes they won't do anything till you touch the actual grid. So changing out a thing. You'll notice that there are slightly different things, right? There's a little drop down here which takes you to the preset audio management page. But this is for the global. This is where you can import your stuff for globally. On the second one, you don't have that. You have an audio input button only, and you tap on this. You can record audio in if you want to. Okay, so yeah, I think it's $8.99 or something. You can record audio in, right? Or you can import your audio file. So if we tap on this, I've been playing around with some of Daniel's MC13 collection that we did yesterday. So if I wanted to kind of search for something here, I would go right. Okay, well, so I don't know. I'm going to go with something from Hill House again because it's just too cool. Where are we? H, and it. There we go. So I'm going to tap on this here, and this is now going to open this here. Now you'll see this is quite a long file. So I'm going to extend the length of the actual thing to almost the whole thing. So now, if I touch on it, I'll need to gauge it.
I'm not going. I'm not going to the party.
So this is the length of the grain and the speed. See how this works?
I'm not going.
LFO.
I'm not going.
Now, like I said, this is going to be the pitch of the original sample, so then we can start to sequence it. Now at the moment this will be free running. Let's sync it to the tempo. And now we'll need to press play. Yeah, I'll show you how the filter works. Okay. The filter is part of the reverb. Okay, so let's push all this down. So having it in the middle like this, there basically is no filtering. It's just as it would be. Moving it towards the left is going to start to close the cutoff. It's going to close the filter so that it's going to get, the tone is going to get darker. There is no resonance, by the way, but so that's basically closing the filter like you would turn the cutoff towards the left. And then going towards the right is a high pass filter which cuts out all the lows. Double tap and it will reset. And then pushing up is the reverb. It's volume there, by the way. So pushing up will increase the reverb and control the filter. Now if we go here, we can choose, and you'll see that the wave we've just been ported has been added in here, but we can choose any wave from here, the user waves, and put them in the top part. Okay. Maybe it would be nice to automate automate some of this stuff, right? So this is cool. We can't record anything. It doesn't have no automation other than its LFO, right? But maybe we would like to automate certain parameters, certainly like the grain, maybe the the position of this. Okay, so let's do that, shall we? To do that, we're going to need to add in an LFO from somewhere else. This is getting too dark for me to see. Let me just do this. I'm going to add in a rosette. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to do that. Just remove that channel. I'm going to add a Midi channel in. And I'm going to add in a Rosetta LFO. So you can add as many in as you like. Rosetta LFOs, use as many spacecrafts. But I'm going to use Rosetta LFO on this one, which we know is number 2. So I'm going to go audio unit extension for this and Rosetta LFO. And we'll open Rosetta LFO. We're going to look. 13, 15, and 17 are the CCs that Rosetta LFO is defaulted with for sending MIDI data out. That's okay because there's nothing really on 13, 15, and 17. We want them to be associated with spacecraft. Easiest thing to do here is tap on this little thing and see where it says MIDI output here. So MIDI output, and we're going to choose spacecraft number 2 as a place to we want to receive MIDI from. So we're sending MIDI out from LFO into there. Tap on here, and then there's 3 little like a little mixer thing. Tap on that, and the first thing you want to do is no MIDI source. Tap to confirm. So I'm going to tap on this and choose Rosetta LFO. Okay. So now they're all connected and happy. Here are your controls, right? So here's the easiest thing to do. You can, where it says sequence 0 is the top, sequence 0 is the first part of the instrument, this top waveform here. And if you scroll down these little things, and eventually you will get to, after it says sequence 0, you will get to sequence 1, and then all them controls are for sequence 1. So you have sequence 0, the top one, sequence 1, the bottom one. Fine. Let's start to set this up. Sequence grain, which is this, is now connected to Rosetta, as you see, because I automatically connected it. If I tap on it here, I'm going to set this CC to 13. Anyway, I'm just going to go learn. And I don't know why, right, which is very strange. I don't know why it did that without me thing is. Let's speed it up, see if it's the right one. So, yeah. So it's sequence grain 1 on this one. But we can start to choose some different. See, it's connected to this as well. So I'm going to change that, which is the LFO. LFO, I'm going to have this set to, otherwise 13, 14. I'm going to have that set to 15. I'm going to learn that now, 15. That's fine. Now, I'm going to keep watching this. I'm going to change the speed of number 15. I've set it on the sequence grain. So now we've got 2 different speed of moving LFOs. Let's just close that. And if we now start to play them. Hi, well.
You spend too much time.
So you can just go and assign. You can assign LFOs to whatever you like, which is very cool. Which is what I was doing with the other session earlier, which had, if we have a look at that, I don't need to save that. And if I open this and look at, I think, SpaceCraft 1, if we look, it has 2 LFOs, and those LFOs are assigned to various parts of this. It won't start playing till I start playing. See, I've got it tracking, one LFO tracking along on this one. Okay, now like I was saying, it works, it sounds better I think with long samples, because you get a lot of movement and a lot of change in the actual sound. So what we'll do is we will open one here, just to show you can open more than 2 now. Let it crash now. Excuse me, I'm just gonna wipe my screen. Guys, if you're enjoying the video, please strike the like. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Consider becoming a patron. Super chat, super stickers, super thanks are all very much appreciated. Right, I'm gonna have to drink. And volume's down for all of these. Now I'm gonna show you why I think that long samples are kind of nicer. So there is, I can't see, let's open this. I'm going to just import another sample. So I'm going to go import audio, and I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go back here and and also something that changes a lot, like so. Although you could use like drones and then have the drone sequence, I just, for me, playing around with this kind of stuff is really nice. So if we choose, say, oh, I don't know, these are my audio share files. I'm going to choose something from in here. Actually, why aren't I finding my other stuff that's in here on audio share? Right, that's okay, doesn't matter. I'm just looking for something. Oh, I know why. Let me do this. This is importing samples from folders. So I'm going to go into here. Oh, do you know what? I've cancelled. I'm going to go into the actual input section and import it from here. Oh, same thing. Interesting. Doesn't matter. And I'm going to choose something from here. I'm going to choose what's this? Oh, that one. So now we've got a complete track in here, and I'm going to put something in here as well. So go to audio input and import a complete thing, and I'll import this one. So it's a different one again. So now it's 2 complete songs, and this is where it shines really well. We can move our position around, and also so it can cover the entire wave here. All right, so we can do the same with this one and this one, and now you get a lot of movement. But like I said, you can go right in. Till you find something really cool. Add a load of reverb. And we're not even sequencing yet. I'll start with this one. I'll turn the volume down. Oh, there is a mute button. Oh, it's just so bloody brilliant. Now we're going to sequence it. Right. Okay. Let me try and explain it again. You load in a WAV file. Excuse me, you load in a WAV file to either one of the engines. They're both completely independent of each other. Load in a WAV file. To get this WAV file to make sound, excuse me, to get this WAV file to make sound, don't forget it's granular. It's looking at grains. It's looking at small sections of that wave, that entire wave, and you move around those sections with this cursor, right? Up is volume, down is quieter, and this looks at the wave. It scans through the wave wherever you want to use it. This is the grain size. Okay, so you get an idea is if when it's running, is you can hear what it does. You don't really need to learn it. There's nothing to learn. You just play with it. It's not difficult to play with. You can get started immediately. It comes with a bunch of cool projects as well. Just press this button here and it will start, and it will start making noise depending on how this is set, how this is set, how this is this and this. This is just a reverb and filter. This is pitch control, fine, coarse, and a ring modulator. So if we listen, speed this up, it's just speeding up the how fast it's reading the grain. And then this is the length. So you'll get a little bit more of the actual. This is filter and reverb. No reverb. Tons of reverb. Filter, low pass, high pass, double tap to reset, fine tuning, coarse, ring modulation. This is when the one with the little up button, what that's going to do is it's going to play the sample at the original pitch. So if you had a sample in A, this would be playing A. So this is playing the original pitch of my track, of this sample, how it would be normally, but it's only playing a grain of it, you know. Now this is an octave, and it's dependent. The speed of this is dependent on two things. This, and if you have it synced, the BPM. Okay? So if we go tap this, you'll see grain control is in free running mode at the moment. Let's put it into sync mode. And now if we press this, nothing will happen until I press this. And that will be synced to 120 BPM. And or resolutions thereof. So it's this that's making all that cool noise. That's why I said longer samples are really good. So this is just your grain control, an octave, and these, again, this sequencer is now, there's an octave here, an octave there, so an octave above, an octave below, and an octave below the original pitch. Okay, so for instance, and anywhere in between. And how it plays is dependent upon the scale you have it set on. So at the moment it's on minor and it's in multi-note mode. Now multi-note mode just means that you can play more than one note at a time. Single note mode will only allow you to input one note. So for instance, if I go into single note mode, close this, go back to multi-note mode, it's kind of sequencing itself. Okay, now the scales are, well, you get lots and lots of them you can play with, loads of different scales, and don't forget they're directly related to your original note. So if it was just one long droning C or something, it would, you could play around with like very melodic sequencing, if you like. But like I said, that's not normally the way I would not like do it. I just like to kind of put long samples in. Okay, so you can change the scale to anything you like, minor, pentatonic. However, you do have total chromatic control. So if we again go into our minor pentatonic here and we go all the way to where it says chromatic, we find chromatic, you'll notice there's a big difference now because there'll be tons of notes and it'll, your original one is here, and now you have a huge range all over the keyboard sort of thing. Many octaves above, many octaves below. There you go, Sam. It's 128 MIDI notes. So let's go back to our minor pentatonic. When you start to do this now, so don't forget we're in synchronized mode now, which means the pattern would be dependent upon what you put in here. It's not a drum machine as such. It's a granular synthesizer. So, you know, it's what you pattern. But don't forget there's two of them. I'll set this to sync mode as well, so they're both on. You can change the LFO shape as well, by the way. That sent the LFO. Well, we're gonna do this. Let's close this. So now. Zoom really close in. Why would you want to play it with Riffer? I mean, you might want to play with Riffer. Should we have a go? Should we see if we can get it to play with Riffer? Right. I tell you what. I tell you what we'll do. We'll replace this with some notes, shall we? So it makes a bit more sense. So we'll go into input here. Go in here. I'll go here. I'll go down to maybe Digitact Lo-Fi. See if we've got some single notes. Right, so there's a C here. So we'll put 2 C's in. We'll put a C in this one. It's just one big chunky note. That's fine. I'm going to take these out and this out. And then also I'll put a C note in here as well. And I'm going to write fine in with the grain. But there you go. It doesn't really matter. It's all going to be C. Let's put this one in as well. Let's go here and let's put this C in. So we've got 2 C's. Okay, we're going to see if we can sync. First of all, let's see if our sequencing works with this. There it is, as it is. I don't think this is going to work, and I don't think it'll sound great if it does, but let's give it a go. So if we got a MIDI channel somewhere, I'll stick here. Riffer, although you never know, do you? You never quite know. So let's do this. Let's go Riffer MIDI output to SpaceCraft 3 here. So now it's connected to this. We know we're synced, so let's... There you go. It bloody sounds great. There you go, Wall. Sounds quite good, actually, doesn't it? Let's go with... Let's see what's going on in SpaceCraft. I wondered if... Don't need that on, do we? It's playing it. It's playing it. Let's see what's going on here. That actually sounds really good. Actually, do you know what? Let's see what it sounds like with a longer sequencing as well for the second part, because that sounds really good. Let's try it with something from... see Riffer triggering the... And this would be related to the scale, I guess. Excuse me. Guys, I'm going to have to go. It's getting on. I'm melting up here as well. I'm so hot. I mean, I wouldn't personally run it through Riffer because I just prefer to play with the grain sampling and the sequencer. But I must admit that sounds good, and at least it works. You know, that's a cool thing as well. Guys, thanks so much for joining me this evening, where we took a look at SpaceCraft because it's great. I haven't looked at SpaceCraft for years. I've found loads of cool apps to be doing over the next few days. I kid you not. Really, some really old ones, but they're still brilliant. Anyway, awesome stuff. Cool beans. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, where we took a look at the brilliant SpaceCraft from Mark Watt and did some interesting things and tested some things out as well, which is always good, and everything worked fine. We didn't have no disasters or anything like that. So guys, there's still time to super chat and all the rest of it, and like the video or subscribe, etc. to help support me and Joe here at the Sound Test Room. I'm going to play this for a couple of minutes and I will see you all tomorrow. Ta-ra!
Too much time. You spend too much time.
Without any...
time up there. You spend too much time up there. You spend too much time up there. You spend too much time up there.